Begin today's episode with the gang arriving at the bottom of Mount Moon. Considering that it's already late, the gang decide to take a break in the Pokemon Center. While Ash is healing his Pokemon, Brock once again gets rejected by Nurse Joy, as usual, while Misty sees a man selling strong water-type Pokemon. Being interested, she asks the man about the Pokemon, and the man says that the Pokemon is very strong. So Misty decides to buy the Pokemon, which turns out to be a Magikarp. She tries to get a refund, but the man doesn't accept refunds and says that it'll eventually evolve into strong Pokemon anyways. And so he quickly runs out of the Pokemon Center, with Misty being furious at him. Now, when they exit the Pokemon Center, they end up running into the Leaf at the bottom of Mount Moon. The two of them Ash and Leaf catch up for a bit, and they decide to have a battle. The battle is a one-on-one, with Ash using his Nidoran versus Leaf's Bulbasaur. It's a very good clash, however, eventually, Nidoran does win out. Leaf congratulates him on his victory, and tells Ash that she's currently helping a researcher with finding fossils and moonstones. She introduces him to Professor. Professor talks to Ash, and the trio as well as Leaf decide to continue helping him in Mount Moon. Inside Mount Moon, they encounter a lot of Pokemon. Zubats, Geodudes, the common Mount Moon Pokemon. Eventually, near midnight, they end up seeing Clefairy dancing. So this part will be mostly like the original, just with Leaf and Ash's Nidoran will be outside looking at a Clefairy. Foreshadowing. Anyways, eventually they'll make it to the last chamber of Mount Moon and find the two fossils there. Now, Leaf wants to go pick it up and give it to the professor. However, at this point, Team Rocket would attack. So Ash and Leaf decide to team up to fight against Team Rocket. Ash using his Nidoran and Pikachu, while Leaf using Bulbasaur fights against Coughing, Meowth, and Ekans. It's a good fight. However, Nidoran ends up getting pretty hurt, and so in an act of desperation, it evolves into Nidorino. And with its newly acquired power, it's able to send Team Rocket blasting off. However, when Team Rocket blasts off, a piece of amber fell from the sky. Ash picks it up and asks the professor what it is. Professor states that it's an old amber containing the fossil of Aerodactyl. Ash decides that the professor lets Ash keep the old amber for now. Leaf also gets some moonstones and decides to give one to Ash so that Nidorino can evolve into Nidoking eventually. However, Nidorino doesn't want to evolve right now. Eventually, the group bid farewell to the Leaf and the scientists. Next episode, the gang exit Mount Moon. However, it's getting late, so they decide to set up campfire for now. They end up having some marshmallows and stuff, the typical campfire stuff. Ash ends up pulling out a small bell and starts cleaning it. Brock and Misty ask Ash about the bell, and Ash says that that's one of the things that his father left for him. We cut back to many years ago. We're at the Indigo Plateau with a younger Ash as well as Delia headed to the Pokemon League, where they'll be seeing Ash's father versus Lance, the current champion of Kanto. It's the finals of the Pokemon World Championships, with Ash's father, Red, using Charizard to battle it out against Lance's Dragonite. It's a huge clash, ending with Charizard using Flamethrower as well as Dragonite using Dragon Rage. However, Charizard ends up winning out, making Red the new Pokemon World Champion. Ash is very happy, of course, that his father became the world champion, and we see that Ash is very close with his father and looks up to him. However, one day, his father disappeared, leaving only 3 things for Ash: a letter, the cap that Ash wears, and a bell. Ash picks up the letter. The letter is from his father, telling him that he has to leave. He has some important things to do, so he won't be back for a long time, and tells Ash to look after his mother and to become a Pokemon Master. Ash decides that he'll keep the hat for when he starts his journey. However, the bell, he ends up taking it as a good luck charm of sorts. However, he doesn't know what the bell is. We cut back to current day, with Brock and Misty being surprised to learn that Ash is the son of the world champion. Now, what they don't know is that Team Rocket was around this, and while they were distracted with the story, they end up catching Pikachu. Now, Ash ends up battling Team Rocket, using Butterfree and Nidorino to take on Coughing against Meowth. Now, Ash's spirit ends up getting so heated that a bell starts glowing, as well as his rainbow wing. Ash takes out the rainbow wing, being curious as to why it was glowing. However, suddenly, something arrived. Ho-Oh was summoned, and using just a single secret fire, instantly destroys Team Rocket and sends them blasting off again. Pikachu is safe this time, and Ho-Oh flies away with the rainbow wing and the bell stopping not glowing anymore. Misty and Brock eventually catch up and ask Ash what that was about. However, even Ash doesn't know. Thus, we begin the story. We begin the mystery of what is the bell that Ash's father left to him, and what is its connection to Ho-Oh. However, before the episode ends, we see a cliff. We see a certain man looking at Ash, telling him that he's proud of him, and that one day they will meet again, as Ho-Oh flies to the man. Now, here we'll get the AJ episode. It'll mostly stay the same. In fact, it'll stay exactly the same. So, next episode, the gang arrives at Cerulean City. While Ash wants to go take on the gym, Misty tells him to not go to the gym first, and she's gonna head home first to get some things, and tells Ash to not go to the gym until she's back. Brock, however, decides to go around Cerulean City for now. So he leaves the two of them, while Misty also starts heading home. So we're only left with Ash. Ash is going around Cerulean, being bored as hell. However, he suddenly sees the Cerulean gym, or at least what he thinks is the Cerulean gym. It looks more like a carnival than a gym. However, Ash decides not to judge and goes in. However, what surprised Ash was that there were so many people there, and it was a performance, as he sees three girls as well as some Pokemon start performing in the pool. Now Ash is very confused at this point, so after performance, he finds the three girls and asks about a gym battle. Now, the three girls will be exactly like how they are in the anime, so they refuse to battle and try to give Ash a Cascade badge. However, Ash declines. Then Misty appears and says that those three are sisters. And Misty yells at Ash for coming to the gym first, so Ash is in a lot of trouble. Misty's sister continued to berate her, saying that she doesn't have any talent for performing, so that's why they never really included her, and says that they're planning on changing the gym into more performing. However, Misty doesn't agree with this, and says, as she states that she'll stake everything. She'll battle Ash, and if she wins, she wants to keep this gym as a gym. And Ash also chimes in, saying that if Ash loses, he'll stop his career of being a Pokemon trainer, because Misty's sister still doesn't take her serious enough. Now that Ash has taken his career on the line, Misty's sisters are even more interested. And so, we begin the Cerulean battle. Ash versus Misty. Round 1 is Nidorino versus Magikarp. With a single attack, Magikarp is knocked out, which surprises Ash and Misty. So, however, Misty decides that she can't waver now, and sends in her next Pokemon, Psyduck. Nidorino was about to defeat Psyduck, because Psyduck can't really battle too well, and Misty's sister are starting to laugh at her. However, Psyduck unlocks his psychic powers, and with a single attack, also takes out Nidorino. Ash sends out Butterfree next, and battles Psyduck. After a close fight, Butterfree is able to win out. Finally, it's Misty's Staryu. Staryu and Butterfree battle it out for a while. However, Staryu is able to take out the already weakened Butterfree. Now, the battle comes down to the final 1v1. Pikachu versus Staryu. Pikachu uses Thunderbolt on Star. After a close fight, Pikachu uses Thunderbolt on Staryu, severely weakening it. However, Staryu doesn't want to give up. It doesn't. It wants to make Misty proud. So, the sheer act of desperation evolves into a Starmie. We begin the final battle. Pikachu versus Starmie. It's a close fight, very close, with them clashing with Thunderbolts, water guns, everything. The battle ends with Pikachu using Thunderbolt clashing with Starmie's Hydro Pump. When the dust settles, Pikachu is the only one left standing, making Ash the victor. Misty is pretty bummed out, thinking that her sisters are gonna. Misty is pretty bummed out, thinking that means that gym is going to become a performing center. However, her sisters decide not to, and will continue making it a gym, being inspired by the battle. So, Misty gives Ash the Cascade badge. Ash is really happy to get his second badge. And at dusk, him and Misty both leave the gym. They end up meeting with Brock at the Pokemon Center as Ash shows him his Cerulean badge, his Cascade badge. Next episode, the gang arrive at Nugget Bridge. They end up seeing a familiar face running up towards them. That being Gary. Gary just passed Nugget Bridge and was planning on training here for a while. Ash asks Gary for a battle. However, Gary decides to hold the battle for now, as he's gonna be training for a while. So the two of them decide to take on the Nugget Bridge challenge. Ash takes on most of the trainers, as Gary has already defeated most of them. And Ash is successful and ends up getting a nugget from two mysterious trainers. However, the two trainers reveal themselves to be Team Rocket again. So Ash and Gary battle Team Rocket and end up molesting off again. Now Gary, after seeing this, decides that he'll stay with Ash and gang for a bit, since he's gonna be training him as well. The next episode will be Bulbasaur's capture episode, which will stay exactly the same as the original, just with Gary in it. The next episode is the Charmander capture episode. Now this episode will only have some minor changes, so Ash and the gang will still meet Charmander, and they'll still be at the Pokemon Center where they'll meet Damien. However, instead of Brock getting all pissed, it's Ash, and he ends up trying to punch Damien. However, Gary and Brock hold him back. They decide that they have to save Charmander since it's raining now, so they end up going there, with Ash being the main one to protect Charmander this time instead of Brock. They're able to get Charmander back to the Pokemon Center, who starts healing. However, the next day, it escapes the Pokemon Center and heads back to the Rock. The gang chase Charmander back to Rock, with Ash telling Charmander to go back to Pokemon Center. However, Charmander refuses. That's when Team Rocket arrives again. However, Charmander being surprised, sends out a flamethrower that instantly defeats Team Rocket. Damien, who was nearby, saw that flamethrower and decides to play it cool and asked Charmander to come back to his team, as he didn't want Charmander to be released, which Ash knows is complete bullshit. So he calls Damien out on it. And with a combined flamethrower and thunderbolt from Ash's Pikachu and Charmander, they send Damien running off crying. Ash then asks Charmander if he'd be willing to be caught by him, and Charmander agrees. So Ash throws a Pokeball and is able to catch Charmander. The next episode is the Squirtle episode, which will stay the same. Now, following that, we'll begin the next episode with Ash receiving a phone call from Professor Oak telling him to go visit Bill, as he needs some information. The gang arrive at Bill's house and they go inside, only to see a Clefairy. The Clefairy then suddenly starts talking, which surprises everyone there. However, the Clefairy then clarifies that it's actually Bill and messed up an experiment, so he needs them to undo the experiment. So Gary goes over to Bill's computer and is ready to help him. As Bill heads back into the machine, Gary is able to exchange back their bodies, and so Bill and Clefairy are all right. Bill talks to them and is able to send the information Professor Oak needs to him. Ash asks what the information was about, and Bill says that it's about a mythical Pokemon known as Mew. Mew is a very elusive Pokemon, so he's currently trying to find out more about Mew, saying that saying that there are still many things that people don't know about Pokemon, which is why he is dedicating his research to finding out more about Pokemon. Bill then suggests that he could probably learn more from seeing a battle, so he asks Ash and Gary if they would have a battle, and Ash and Gary both accept the fight. However, before they could accept the fight, Team Rocket appears and are blasted off. However, they're able to steal a certain hard drive, saying that Giovanni needs the hard drive, or something. Ash and the gang couldn't hear clearly as they were blasting off. However, they did steal a pen drive. Now, we get to the battle. Ash versus Gary, finally getting their second rematch. The battle begins with Nidorino versus Nidorina. It's a very good, close battle. However, Nidorino is able to take the dub in the end. Gary sends out Pidgeotto next, and since Pidgeotto's in the air, Nidorino has a lot of trouble hitting it, and is eventually taken out. Ash decides to send out Pikachu next, who with a couple of Thunderbolts is able to take out Pidgeotto. Gary's final Pokemon is Squirtle, and Squirtle surprisingly is able to defeat Pikachu. So Ash was thinking about which Pokemon to send out next when Charmander pops out of the Pokeball on its own. So Ash decides to use Charmander to take on Squirtle. It's a very good fight, with Charmander giving it all he's got, and Squirtle being pushed to its absolute limit. It's the first time Gary and Squirtle have been pushed back this far, and Squirtle evolves into a Wartortle, and with its added power, it's able to defeat Charmander. However, Wartortle actually goes up to help Charmander up, which ends up which begins their rivalry and brotherhood. After that, Bill is satisfied with the battle results, and thanks Ash and the gang, and so he heads back to his lab to work, while the gang heads back to Cerulean City. Ash and the gang decide to stay the night at Pokemon Center. However, Gary decides that he'll leave now, as he can probably reach Vermilion relatively soon. So, Gary bids farewell to them and leaves. And that's also where we'll be ending this episode for now. So, thank you for watching, and remember to subscribe. Thanks.